All 32 NFL teams have mostly made their final appearance for some of their rosters. So let's see which teams will improve or fail next season. Alright, let's go ahead and dive in and see which teams are going to be bad next season. One team that I definitely don't see doing too hot next season is definitely the Buffalo Bills. I mean, look what they just did. They just traded away Stephon Diggs and had their secondary fall apart and everything. If they do not have a miracle of Josh Allen, which I hardly doubt, then it might be over for them just for this season. I mean, think about it. Josh Allen throws so many picks, fumbles all the time, even with Stephon Diggs in that offense. And Gabe Davis, and all of them are leaving now. So, I don't know what he's going to do. But there's no telling what we're going to be watching next year for the Buffalo Bills and their offense. The Bills are most likely going to have to rely on Josh Allen for everything. Probably like a lot more running. I mean, he's really good at that. And he's going to have to rely on his tight ends a lot more, like Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. This one very well could be controversial, but I'm not really sure. This is one of the ones that really have me confused. But think about it. They're going from King Henry to Tony Pollard, a guy who does not really do too well with averages for yards. But, I mean, they're going to have to do a lot of changes for their offense for this to really work for them. Think about what they have at Tennessee. I mean, this is like a quarterback's dream. They have DeAndre Hopkins. They have Calvin Ridley. They have a pretty good team up there with young O-line and J.C. Latham they drafted in the first round. If Will Levis somehow messes this up for them next year, and they do indeed fail, then this is going to be all on him, and he might indeed lose his job or something. But after a good season like last season, I think that he's going to do pretty good. But like I said, this is a kind of a controversial, kind of tough thing to say. So, I mean, I'm going to say that they fail just because it's their first season without Derrick Henry, and it's probably going to be a lot for them. I'm sorry to all my friends who are Titans fans, but I mean, I had to say it. I'm sorry. This is almost probably the final season that Trevor Lawrence is going to have to prove himself to be what they say the next GOAT. Was they hyped up back then? At the 2021 draft class, they always said that Trevor Lawrence was going to be the next GOAT and going to be amazing. But obviously that hasn't happened just yet. I haven't seen any of that yet. But we haven't, like I said, we haven't seen his full potential. But they have made some new additions to their team. They've got Gabe Davis. They got Eric Armstead at the defensive tackle position. They've made some upgrades to their team, but it's going to have to be a rough rebuild over these next couple years. We all knew it was coming. I mean, every single year we see the Seattle Seahawks start Geno Smith at quarterback, and then they just not perform the best. I mean, it's like clockwork every single year. I mean, if they want to actually have potential to do good, then they needed to just draft a quarterback. They signed Sam Howell, thinking he's going to do something, Mr. King of I throw interceptions. I think he had 20s plus interceptions. He had a lot last year. Too many. And, I mean, besides the quarterback position, they have a pretty good team. They have Kenneth Walker. They have DK Metcalf, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. They actually have a pretty good offense. I mean, they need to work on the line, obviously. But, I mean, you could argue for their defense. They have pretty good DBs. I'm pretty sure they signed Leonard Williams. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they have Tariq Woolen. They have Devin Witherspoon. I mean, it's a pretty good team that you can work with. All you need is just a good quarterback and some upgraded O-line and just some other key positions, and you have yourself a good playoff caliber team. What makes or breaks them being a playoff team or not is just Geno Smith. I mean, he's a good quarterback and all, but I mean, look at the O-line and look at his performances the last few years. They haven't been what a good QB1 would technically be. I mean, come on, do we even have expectations for this team? I mean, all they have is just Devontae Adams and Max Crosby that I remember. Because, I mean, they just got rid of Josh Jacobs to the Packers, and I mean, everything's just going downhill for them. Unless if they're trying to rebuild, like, majorly in this next couple years. Because I think that's what they need. I mean, isn't their quarterback right now Aiden O'Connell, I think? I mean, or Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't know if they've released him yet. But they have some major work to do before they become anywhere close to a playoff team. The only player that I know who they got was just Christian Wilkins, and that's it. Now that I told all of you guys what teams I thought was going to fail, now let's get into the teams that I think are going to do really good next season and improve. The Cincinnati Bengals last year had like a season where I would say a down season. They actually didn't do too bad without Joe Burrow having Jake Browning start, but now that they have a healthy Joe Burrow, they can improve from what they had last season. But they are in a very tough division to where they weren't able to make the playoffs last year, even though they went 9-8. They had a pretty good year, but yeah, they just need Joe Burrow. They need their team to be healthy. They had a pretty good draft and offseason. They've done pretty well. I mean, just people are probably not going to be looking at them too much just because of how they performed last season, but they are a big team that's going to be slept on for next season. And I see them doing pretty well and going to playoffs and maybe even more. They did get rid of the running back Joe Mixon, which, I mean, he is getting a little older, and I'm pretty sure he was kind of expensive. I'm not sure, but he is now on the Texans. He got there in free agency or traded, I don't remember. But I think the running back now, if I'm mistaken, is Gus Edwards or something like that. Which, I mean, they already have Jamar Chase and an amazing explosive offense, which I think that they will do really good next season. People are acting like they weren't just in a Super Bowl a few years ago. They're still a really good team. If they're healthy, they can win Super Bowls, they can win games. So yeah, as long as they're healthy, they'll be good. The Chargers are we're in a very similar situation as the Bengals were last season. The Chargers had, like, a down year, I'd say, because of their coach. Their coach, he just wasn't coaching them right, I'd say. I mean, he's just not doing what a good coach would do. And I feel like he held them back a little bit, Brandon Staley, and he could have done better. But now that they have a new coach, Jim Harbaugh, and they have Joe Alt, they have, like, a better, healthy team, they can do really good next season if they stay healthy and just stay consistent. I know they're in a rough division, mainly because of the Chiefs, but they can beat the Chiefs as they have in the last couple years. I mean, they've done that, like, sometimes, rarely. And the Chargers can be a really slept-on team if they don't pay attention, because that team is very good. Because Justin Herbert has some good talent. He was Rookie of the Year at time, and I mean, they have some good talent, so they need to watch out. I know, everyone's gonna call me biased, but it's true. The Dolphins have made a good recovery because, I mean, they can have a good comeback season. Even though, I mean, we did make it to the playoffs, we had a good year. It's just, think about all the injuries we dealt with. Think about all the players and everything that got injured. Like, we got, like, Jalen Phillips on our defense, and Van Ginkel, and just everyone on our, like, and also Jalen Waddle had a few injuries, Tyreek Hill did, like, almost everyone had a few injuries. I mean, Tua stayed healthy, which is good. But this next year, if we stay healthy, we'll be great. I mean, we could even be Super Bowl contenders, but I know you guys are going to just say, he's glazing, he's doing too much and everything. But no, this is a good team, and we have potential to make it to the playoffs and even a Super Bowl, because we had the new additions of Chop Robinson in the draft. We've got Odell Beckham. We have Jordan Poyer, safety from the Bills. Like, we have, like, a lot of new things that can help us in the long run. But think about this too. I mean, we had to get rid of Van Ginkel, as I mentioned earlier. He's on the Vikings now, and also we got rid of, like, as you guys saw earlier, Christian Wilkins. So, I mean, we had to make some sacrifices for salary cap stuff. But if we get Tua's fifth-year option and get all the other struggles out of the way, this could be a really good contending team, and we could hopefully win a Super Bowl. Where should I even start with this team? They've done so much this offseason with trades and everything. Well, let's just talk about Stephon Diggs. I mean, he just got traded to the Texans from the Bills, and they have also acquired so many people like Joe Mixon as well. There's so many other things, I kind of just forgot all of them. But they have something very good going on. They have a great offense with Nico Collins, like I said, also Stephon Diggs. Have CJ Stroud, who is now more experienced. He's going to have just a great offense around him, and he should have a great year next year. I mean, he had a great one last year, only throwing 5 picks, and hopefully he could play full season. I know last year he didn't finish the whole season, but yeah, they've improved their defense a lot. I mean, don't forget, they got Will Anderson last year. It's really shocking how good they have done. And I see them making really good progress next year. And don't forget that their division technically isn't that good. I mean, they have the Colts, who kind of aren't that good. They have the Jags. I mean, they're mid. I mean, they aren't the best. And they have an up-and-coming Titans team that could be good in a few years, but not that good right now. So, I mean, they have a perfect opportunity to make it really high in the playoffs and get a good seed. So, I think they deserve a lot of respect. Don't act like you're not surprised for the Bears. I mean, they have done so many things. They have drafted Caleb Williams, and they've drafted Rome Odunze, and all these other trades I'll talk about in a minute. But all this stuff came from that one trade from the Carolina Panthers. They even have DJ Moore from that trade. For the number 1 pick last year, which was Bryce Young, and other small picks. But it's so much that they've done. I mean, it's incredible when you think about it. Like I said, they got Caleb Williams. Their running back is now DeAndre Swift from the Eagles. They also now have Rome Odunze, as I mentioned. They have Keenan Allen, which is insane. They have DJ Moore, as I talked about. So they have a great team around them. They have Cole Kmet at tight end, I'm pretty sure. They have, what a dream. This is a perfect setup for Caleb Williams. If Caleb Williams sells this, has a bad season, then everyone's going to be calling him the draft bust. I mean, he's been put into a perfect position. Think about how Bryce Young, he didn't have everything that Caleb Williams has had. Bryce Young hasn't had his full potential yet. I mean, look at his team. They haven't really had enough time to rebuild around Bryce Young. But they already have everything set up for Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has a full offense, a defense that is still pretty good, and they got Jalen Johnson on defense. Yeah, they have a great team. So if Caleb Williams somehow sells this, then it's all going to be on him. Everyone's going to be throwing hate at him. So that should give him some motivation to do good. I mean, if he doesn't get Rookie of the Year, then I don't know what to tell you. Everyone says that he's going to be the next best GOAT. He's going to be Patrick Mahomes. Well, we'll see. He's got to prove it. To everyone who made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. And this is my first ever video, so leave some comments on what I should do next time for my next video. And yeah, see you guys.